In the bustling market of Lagos, where the aroma of spices mingled with the calls of vendors, lived Amina, a spirited Nigerian woman of 60 years. Despite her age, she was known for her strength and determination, managing her small business with grace and resilience. One humid afternoon, as she negotiated with a supplier, her gaze fell upon Tond, a young man of 25, struggling under the weight of a large crate of goods. His muscles strained as he staggered past her stall, sweat glistening on his forehead. "Hey, let me help you with that," Amina offered, surprising herself. Tond hesitated, taken aback by her offer. "Ma'am, it's really heavy," he protested weakly. Undeterred, Amina insisted, and together they lifted the crate onto Tond's back. As they walked towards his destination, a lively banter sparked between them. Tond learned of Amina's life experiences, her triumphs, and her unfulfilled dreams. Amina, in turn, admired Tond's youthful enthusiasm and determination to succeed despite life's challenges. "You're quite something, Amina," Tond remarked with a smile as they finally reached his drop-off point. "And you, young man, have a good heart," Amina replied warmly. Tond thanked her and lingered, not wanting their conversation to end. Days turned into weeks, and their encounters at the market became regular. Amina found herself looking forward to Tond's visits, cherishing their discussions about everything from family to dreams. One evening, bathed in the glow of the setting sun, their conversation took a different turn. "You know, Amina, I admire you," Tond confessed quietly. "Your strength, your wisdom, and I think I'm falling for you." Amina chuckled softly, touched by his sincerity. "Oh, Tond, you're a charmer. But you're so young, and well, let's just say I've seen more sunsets than you." Tond nodded thoughtfully. "Age doesn't matter when two hearts connect, does it?" Their laughter mingled with the rustling leaves as they exchanged stories late into the evening. Finally, with the moon high above them, Amina took out her phone. "Here, Tond," she said softly, handing him her number. "Call me sometime." Tond's face lit up, and he stored her number carefully. "I will," he promised, his voice filled with anticipation. As they said their goodbyes, Amina walked towards her car, feeling lighter than she had in years. She glanced back at Tond, who waved enthusiastically. The market seemed quieter now, bathed in the shadows of twilight. Amina started her car, her heart fluttering with a newfound joy. As she drove home, she couldn't help but smile, knowing that sometimes, love finds us in unexpected places and at unexpected times, just like the setting sun that painted the sky with hues of orange and gold. As the days passed, Tond and Amina found themselves calling each other more frequently. Their conversations ranged from mundane details of their days to deeper discussions about their hopes and dreams. Each call strengthened the bond between them, weaving a tapestry of shared interest and mutual admiration. One sunny Thursday afternoon, Tond mustered the courage to suggest a more formal outing. "Amina, how about we meet up this Sunday at the Nigeria Game Park?" he proposed over the phone, his voice betraying a hint of nervousness. Amina paused for a moment, a smile spreading across her face. "That sounds lovely, Tond," she replied warmly. "I'd like that very much." They agreed on a time and place, their excitement palpable through the phone lines. In the days leading up to Sunday, anticipation grew like a gentle breeze, promising new beginnings under the sprawling canopy of the park. On the appointed day, Amina arrived at the park early, her heart aflutter with a blend of nervousness and anticipation. She chose a shaded spot under a baobab tree, the rustling leaves providing a soothing backdrop to her thoughts. She glanced at her phone occasionally, checking the time and hoping to see Ton's name light up the screen. Meanwhile, Ton arrived shortly after, his steps filled with purpose as he scanned the park for Amina. Spotting her sitting gracefully under the baobab tree, he couldn't help but marvel at her elegance and poise. "Amina," he called out, a wide smile breaking across his face as he approached her. Amina looked up, her eyes sparkling with joy at the sight of him. "Ton, you made it," she greeted warmly, standing to embrace him. They exchanged pleasantries and settled down, the park buzzing with life around them. Under the shade of the baobab tree, they talked for hours, sharing stories and laughter as if they had known each other for a lifetime. The afternoon sun cast a golden glow over their conversations, painting a picture of serenity and connection. As the day began to fade into dusk, Ton checked his watch reluctantly. "Amina, it's getting late," he said regretfully. "I wish this day didn't have to end." Amina nodded, a hint of sadness in her eyes. "I know, Ton. But I'm grateful for today, for this time together." Ton reached for her hand gently, his touch reassuring. "Amina, I've never felt this way before," he confessed earnestly. "You've changed my world in ways I can't explain." Amina smiled tenderly, squeezing his hand affectionately. "And you've brought so much light into my life, Ton. I never expected this, but I'm glad it happened." They sat in silence for a moment, the sounds of nature around them soothing their hearts. Finally, Ton broke the silence. "Amina, can I see you again?" he asked softly, his gaze unwavering. Amina nodded, her heart swelling with happiness. "Yes, Ton. I would like that very much." They exchanged a lingering glance, their unspoken feelings echoing between them. Ton promised to call her later that evening to arrange their next meeting. With a final embrace, they parted ways, each carrying a newfound sense of hope and excitement for what the future held. As Amina drove home that evening, she couldn't help but reflect on how unexpected love had found its way into her life. She smiled to herself, grateful for the courage to embrace new beginnings and the promise of tomorrow. After their memorable day at the Nigeria Game Park, Ton kept his promise and called Amina later that evening. His voice carried a mix of excitement and anticipation as he suggested visiting her at her house the following weekend. "Amina, would it be alright if I come over to your place next Saturday?" Ton asked, his tone hopeful. Amina's heart skipped a beat at his request. "Of course, Ton. I'd love to have you over," she replied warmly, her smile evident in her voice. They exchanged details and finalized the plan, both looking forward to their next meeting with eagerness. On the appointed Saturday morning, Amina woke up earlier than usual, her thoughts consumed by Ton's impending visit. With a sense of anticipation, she showered, carefully selecting a vibrant traditional attire that complemented her radiant smile. As she stood in front of the mirror, she brushed her hair meticulously, occasionally glancing at her phone to check the time. Amina couldn't suppress the fluttering in her chest as she imagined the day ahead. Once she was satisfied with her appearance, she applied a touch of perfume, feeling a surge of confidence wash over her. After a final glance in the mirror, she grabbed her car keys and headed out the door, her heart racing with excitement. The drive to Tom's house was filled with a mix of nerves and anticipation. Amina couldn't help but replay their conversations in her mind, each moment spent together filling her with warmth and happiness. Upon arriving at Tom's neighborhood, she parked her car and took a deep breath to calm her nerves. With a smile on her face, she walked up to his door and knocked gently. Moments later, Ton opened the door, his eyes lighting up at the sight of Amina standing before him. "Amina, you look absolutely stunning," he exclaimed, his admiration evident in his voice. Amina blushed slightly, feeling grateful for his compliment. "Thank you, Ton. You look quite handsome yourself," she replied, her smile widening. They exchanged pleasantries and Ton invited her inside. As they settled into the cozy living room, Amina couldn't help but admire the warmth and simplicity of Ton's home. They talked animatedly, sharing stories and laughter as if they had known each other for years. Midway through their conversation, Ton offered Amina a refreshing drink, which she graciously accepted. As she sipped her drink, she felt a sense of contentment wash over her, grateful for this newfound connection with Ton. As the afternoon sun cast a gentle glow through the windows, Ton glanced at Amina with a soft smile. "Amina, thank you for inviting me over. I've enjoyed every moment spent with you," he said sincerely, his eyes meeting hers. Amina nodded, touched by his words. "I've enjoyed our time together too, Ton. You've brought so much joy into my life," she replied warmly. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, deepening their bond with each passing moment. As the sun began to set, Amina checked the time and realized it was getting late. "Ton, I should probably head home soon," Amina said reluctantly, though she didn't want the day to end. Ton nodded understandingly. "I understand, Amina. Thank you for coming over today. It means a lot to me," he said sincerely, standing up to walk her to the door. Amina smiled gratefully, feeling a sense of warmth in her heart. "Thank you for having me, Ton. I look forward to our next meeting," she replied warmly, her voice filled with genuine affection. With a final embrace at the door, Amina bid Ton farewell, her mind filled with cherished memories of their time together. As she drove home that evening, she couldn't help but feel grateful for the unexpected love that had found its way into her life. In the weeks that followed their memorable day at Ton's house, Amina and Ton found themselves inseparable. Their love blossomed with each passing day, deepening into a bond that felt like destiny unfolding before them. As they spent more time together, Amina and Ton began discussing their future. They shared dreams of building a life together, creating a home filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams. It didn't take long for them to realize that they wanted to live under the same roof. One sunny afternoon, Ton took Amina to see a charming house nestled in a quiet neighborhood. Surrounded by a garden bursting with colorful flowers, the house seemed to whisper promises of a happy future together. Amina's eyes lit up with joy as she imagined mornings spent sipping tea on the porch and evenings filled with laughter echoing through the halls. "Ton, it's perfect," Amina exclaimed, her heart brimming with excitement. Ton smiled, his own happiness mirrored in his eyes. "I thought you'd like it," he replied warmly, taking her hand in his. They decided to move in together, merging their lives seamlessly as they decorated their new home with pieces that spoke of their shared journey. Amina's touch of tradition blended beautifully with Ton's modern sensibilities, creating a space that felt uniquely theirs. Months passed, and their love only grew stronger. One evening, as they shared a quiet dinner at home, Ton knelt before Amina with a velvet box in his hand. "Amina, you've brought so much joy into my life," he began, his voice filled with emotion. "Will you marry me?" Tears welled up in Amina's eyes as she nodded, unable to find words to express the overwhelming happiness in her heart. Ton slipped a ring onto her finger, sealing their promise of forever with a kiss that spoke of a love deeper than words. Their wedding day arrived amidst a celebration filled with family and friends. Underneath the clear Nigerian sky, Amina and Toнд exchanged vows of love and commitment, surrounded by the people who had witnessed their journey from the very beginning. As the festivities drew to a close, Amina and Toнд bid farewell to their loved ones and embarked on their honeymoon. Hand in hand, they boarded a plane bound for a tropical paradise, where azure waters and golden sands awaited them. As they settled into their seats, Amina leaned her head against Tond's shoulder, her heart overflowing with gratitude for the love that had transformed her life. Tond squeezed her hand gently, his eyes reflecting the promise of a future filled with endless adventures and shared dreams. And as the plane soared into the sky, carrying them towards their destination, Amina and Toнд embraced the beginning of their new chapter together, knowing that their love was a journey that would last a lifetime. They arrived at a secluded island resort, where turquoise waters lapped gently against white sandy beaches, creating a picturesque backdrop for their romantic getaway. On their first morning, Amina and Tond woke up to the soft whisper of the ocean outside their villa. They shared a leisurely breakfast on the terrace, savoring fresh fruits and pastries while basking in the warmth of the morning sun. After breakfast, they strolled hand in hand along the beach, the soft sand tickling their toes. Amina dipped her feet into the crystal-clear water, laughing as Tond splashed playfully nearby. They reveled in the simple joy of being together, their laughter mingling with the soothing sound of the waves. As the day progressed, Amina and Tond indulged in various activities offered by the resort. They went snorkeling in the vibrant coral reefs, marveling at the kaleidoscope of underwater life. Later, they took a catamaran cruise at sunset, the sky painted in hues of pink and gold as they sailed across the tranquil waters. In the evenings, Amina and Tond dined under the stars at the resort's beachfront restaurant. They savored delicious seafood dishes and exotic cocktails, their conversations filled with plans for their future and memories of their journey together. One afternoon, they decided to spend the day swimming in the ocean. Amina floated effortlessly in the gentle waves, her laughter ringing out as Tond swam beside her. They held hands, feeling the warmth of the sun on their skin and the exhilaration of being surrounded by the vast expanse of the sea. As their honeymoon drew to a close, Amina and Tond found themselves at the airport, their hearts heavy with the bittersweet feeling of leaving paradise behind. They waited at the gate, reminiscing about the unforgettable moments they had shared during their time away. "Amina, these past days have been magical," Tond said softly, his eyes shining with love as he squeezed her hand. Amina smiled warmly, her heart swelling with gratitude for the incredible journey they had embarked on together. "Yes, Tond. It's been a dream come true," she replied, leaning into his embrace. Their flight was called, and Amina and Tond boarded the plane, carrying with them the memories of their honeymoon and the promise of a future filled with love and adventure. As they settled into their seats, Amina glanced out the window, watching as the island faded into the distance. After their blissful honeymoon, Amina and Tond returned home, their hearts still full of the memories they had created together. As they settled back into their routine, Amina began to feel a subtle change within her. Weeks passed, and Amina noticed a familiar fatigue and a slight queasiness in the mornings. She realized with growing excitement what it could mean. One sunny afternoon, she decided to take a pregnancy test, her hands trembling slightly with anticipation. When the test confirmed her suspicions, Amina could hardly contain her joy. She called Tond immediately, her voice filled with excitement as she shared the news. Tond's joy mirrored hers, and he rushed home to embrace Amina, his heart bursting with happiness at the thought of becoming a father. They celebrated the news with their families and friends, who showered them with love and well wishes. Amina embraced each day of her pregnancy with gratitude, feeling the life growing within her as a testament to their love and their journey together. As the months passed, Amina and Tond prepared for the arrival of their baby. They decorated a nursery in their home, choosing soft colors and cozy furniture that reflected their hopes and dreams for their growing family. On a quiet evening, as they sat together in the nursery, Amina leaned against Tond, her hand resting gently on her swelling belly. They spoke softly to their unborn child, imagining the adventures they would share as a family. The day finally arrived when Amina went into labor. Tond stood by her side, holding her hand and offering words of encouragement as they welcomed their precious baby into the world. The sound of their baby's first cry filled the room, bringing tears of joy to Amina and Tond's eyes. In the days that followed, they marveled at the miracle of parenthood, cherishing each moment with their newborn. Amina and Tond found themselves in awe of the love they felt for their child, a love that had grown from the foundation of their own love story. And as they looked at their baby, cradled in their arms, they knew that their journey together had come full circle. From a chance encounter in a bustling market to a shared life filled with love, laughter, and now, the precious gift of their child, Amina and Tond embraced the joy of their growing family.